3. Q. Features of monopoly. Monopoly is a market structure where a single firm dominates the entire market by producing and selling a particular good or service. The following are the key features of monopoly. Single seller. A monopoly has only one seller who has complete control over the supply of the product. The seller has the power to determine the price of the product, and there are no close substitutes for the product. Barriers to entry. A monopoly firm enjoys high barriers to entry, making it difficult for new firms to enter the market. These barriers include patents, economies of scale, control over essential resources, and government regulations. Price maker. The monopolist is a price maker and has the power to set the price of the product. The price is usually set at a level that maximizes profits, which is higher than the price that would prevail in a competitive market. Non-price competition. Since there are no close substitutes for the product, the monopolist engages in non-price competition to maintain its market dominance. This includes advertising, product differentiation, and innovation. Abnormal profits. A monopoly firm can earn abnormally high profits in the long run due to its market dominance and the lack of competition. The firm can also earn supernormal profits in the short run by charging higher prices and reducing production costs. Limited consumer surplus. Consumers may pay a higher price for the product in a monopoly market, leading to a reduction in consumer surplus. This occurs because the monopolist charges a price that is higher than the marginal cost of production. Q. Features of monopolistic competition. Monopolistic competition is a market structure characterized by a large number of small firms that sell differentiated products. The following are the key features of monopolistic competition. Large number of firms. There are a large number of firms in monopolistic competition, and no single firm dominates the market. Each firm has a small market share, and the market is highly competitive. Differentiated products. Firms in monopolistic competition sell differentiated products that are unique in some way. The differentiation may be based on quality, features, design, or branding. This allows firms to have some degree of market power and price-setting ability. Easy entry and exit. There are no barriers to entry and exit in monopolistic competition. New firms can easily enter the market and start producing similar products. Similarly, existing firms can exit the market if they are unable to compete. Non-price competition. Firms in monopolistic competition engage in non-price competition to differentiate their products from those of their competitors. This includes advertising, branding, product design, and customer service. Elastic demand. The demand for a firm's product in monopolistic competition is relatively elastic, meaning that small changes in price can lead to significant changes in quantity demanded. This is because consumers have many substitutes available in the market. Short-term profits. Firms in monopolistic competition can earn profits in the short run due to their ability to set prices higher than their production costs. However, in the long run, profits are eroded by the entry of new firms and the emergence of close substitutes. Therefore, in the long run, firms in monopolistic competition earn normal profits. Q. Features of perfect competition of market. Perfect competition is a market structure in which a large number of small firms sell homogeneous products. The following are the key features of perfect competition. Large number of small firms. There are a large number of small firms in perfect competition, and no single firm dominates the market. Each firm has a very small market share. Homogeneous products. All firms in perfect competition sell homogeneous products that are identical in terms of quality, features, and design. Consumers perceive all products to be the same. Perfect information. Consumers and firms have perfect information about the market. They know the prices and quality of all products in the market. Freedom of entry and exit. There are no barriers to entry and exit in perfect competition. New firms can easily enter the market if they want to produce the same product, and existing firms can easily exit the market if they are not making a profit. Price taker. Each firm in perfect competition is a price taker, meaning that it has no control over the price of the product. The market determines the price of the product based on the forces of demand and supply. Zero economic profit in the long run. In the long run, firms in perfect competition earn only normal profits. This occurs because new firms enter the market if existing firms earn supernormal profits, increasing the supply of the product and driving down the price. Conversely, firms exit the market if they incur losses, reducing the supply of the product and driving up the price. This process continues until all firms in the market earn only normal profits. Q. Features of land, labor, and entrepreneur. Land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurs are the four factors of production. The following are the key features of each of these factors. Land. Land refers to all natural resources used in the production of goods and services. It includes land itself, as well as any natural resources found on or beneath the land. The key features of land are limited supply. The supply of land is limited, and it cannot be produced or created. As a result, its value is determined by its scarcity and location. Fixed in supply. The supply of land is fixed and cannot be increased or decreased in the short run. This means that changes in demand for land can lead to significant changes in its price. Labor. Labor refers to the physical and mental efforts of people in the production of goods and services. The key features of labor are heterogeneous. Labor is not homogeneous, as people have different skills, education, and experience levels. This means that the productivity of labor varies across individuals. Mobile. Labor is mobile and can move from one industry to another or from one location to another. This allows labor to respond to changes in demand and supply. Subjective value. The value of labor is subjective and depends on the demand for the particular skills or services that labor provides. Capital. Capital refers to all the man-made goods used in the production of goods and services, such as machinery, equipment, and buildings. The key features of capital are produced over time. Capital is produced over time and requires investment in the form of savings and reinvestment of profits. Durable. Capital goods are durable and can be used repeatedly in the production process. This means that they have a long lifespan. Subject to depreciation. Capital goods are subject to wear and tear and can depreciate over time. This reduces their value and requires firms to invest in maintenance and replacement. Entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are individuals who start new businesses and take on the risk associated with creating new products or services. The key features of entrepreneurs are innovation. Entrepreneurs are innovative and come up with new ideas and products that meet unmet consumer needs. Risk takers. Entrepreneurs take on risk by investing their own money and time in new ventures that may or may not succeed. Profit motive. Entrepreneurs are motivated by the prospect of earning profits, and they seek to maximize their returns by creating value for consumers. Q. What is law of demand? The law of demand is a fundamental concept in economics that states that the quantity of a good or service demanded by consumers will increase as the price of that good or service decreases, all other things being equal. The following are assumptions related to the law of demand. Inverse relationship. The law of demand establishes an inverse relationship between the price of a good or service and the quantity demanded. As the price of a good or service increases, the quantity demanded will decrease, and as the price decreases, the quantity demanded will increase. Other things remain constant. The law of demand assumes that all other factors that may affect demand, such as income, preferences, and the price of related goods, remain constant. Demand curve. The law of demand is illustrated by a downward sloping demand curve, which shows the quantity demanded at each price level. The curve represents the willingness of consumers to pay for a good or service at different prices. Market demand. The law of demand applies to the entire market, not just to individual consumers. The market demand curve is derived by adding up the quantity demanded by all consumers at each price level. Income effect. The law of demand is influenced by the income effect, which states that as the price of a good or service decreases, consumers can afford to purchase more of it with their given income. This leads to an increase in the quantity demanded. Substitution effect. The law of demand is also influenced by the substitution effect, which states that as the price of a good or service increases, consumers will switch to alternative, less expensive goods or services. This leads to a decrease in the quantity demanded of the more expensive good or service. Exceptions of law of demand. Giffen goods. A giffen good is a special case of inferior goods, where the demand for the good increases as its price increases. This occurs when the good is a staple item for low-income households, and an increase in its price reduces the purchasing power of these households, forcing them to buy more of the good even at a higher price. Veblen goods. A Veblen good is a luxury good for which demand increases as its price increases, as consumers perceive the high price as a signal of high quality and status. Expectations. If consumers expect that the price of a good will increase in the future, they may increase their demand for the good now, leading to an upward sloping demand curve. Changes in income. Changes in income can affect demand, even if the price of the good remains constant. For example, a decrease in income for a normal good would lead to a decrease in demand, while an increase in income for an inferior good would also lead to a decrease in demand. WTO, World Trade Organization. The World Trade Organization, WTO, is an intergovernmental organization that regulates and promotes international trade. The following are some key points about the WTO. History and purpose. The WTO was established in 1995, succeeding the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, GATT, which was created in 1947. Its purpose is to facilitate free trade and promote economic development through the reduction of trade barriers and the establishment of rules-based trading. Membership. The WTO has 164 member countries, including the world's major trading powers such as the United States, China, Japan, and the European Union. All members must agree to abide by the organization's rules and regulations. Functions. The WTO functions as a forum for trade negotiations, providing a platform for countries to discuss and negotiate trade agreements. It also provides a system for resolving trade disputes through a dispute settlement mechanism that is binding and enforceable. Principles. The WTO is guided by several principles, including non-discrimination, transparency, and reciprocity. The principle of non-discrimination requires that countries treat all trading partners equally, without favoring some over others. Transparency requires that countries be open and transparent about their trade policies and regulations. Reciprocity requires that countries give each other similar treatment in trade. Criticisms. The WTO has faced criticisms from various quarters. Some critics argue that the WTO's policies favor developed countries over developing ones, leading to increased economic inequality. Others argue that the WTO's policies prioritize corporate interests over those of labor and the environment. Recent developments. In recent years, the WTO has faced significant challenges, including the rise of protectionism and the failure of the Doha Development Agenda. The organization has also been hampered by a lack of consensus among its members, with some members pushing for reforms while others resist change. The COVID-19 pandemic has also had a significant impact on global trade, and the WTO has been working to facilitate a coordinated response to the crisis. SEBI, Security Exchange Board of India. The Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, is a regulatory authority in India that oversees the securities market and protects the interests of investors. The following are some key points about SEBI that can be elaborated for a 6-mark response. Establishment and purpose. SEBI was established in 1988 as a non-statutory regulatory body and was later made a statutory body in 1992 through the enactment of the SEBI Act. Its purpose is to regulate the securities market in India and protect the interests of investors. Authority and jurisdiction. SEBI has the authority to regulate and oversee various segments of the securities market, including stock exchanges, brokers, mutual funds, and other market intermediaries. Its jurisdiction covers the entire country, and it has regional offices in various cities. Functions. SEBI performs a variety of functions, including small black square regulating and overseeing the functioning of the securities market. Small black square protecting the interests of investors. Small black square developing and enforcing regulations for market participants. Small black square conducting investigations and enforcing penalties for violations of securities laws. Small black square educating investors and promoting investor awareness powers. SEBI has wide-ranging powers to regulate the securities market, including the power to issue regulations, impose penalties, and initiate legal proceedings. It can also conduct investigations and audits of market participants to ensure compliance with securities laws. Recent developments. In recent years, SEBI has introduced a number of reforms aimed at increasing transparency and improving the functioning of the securities market. These include the introduction of new listing and disclosure requirements for companies, the expansion of the market for corporate bonds, and the introduction of new regulations for high-frequency trading. Criticisms. Despite its efforts to regulate the securities market, SEBI has faced criticism from some quarters for not doing enough to protect the interests of investors. Some critics have also argued that the organization lacks independence and is subject to political pressure. However, SEBI has taken steps to address these concerns, including the establishment of an independent appeals tribunal to review its decisions. Features and reforms of money market. The money market refers to the market for short-term debt securities, where instruments with maturities of less than 1 year are traded. The following are some key features and recent reforms of the money market. Features. Short-term maturities. The money market is characterized by short-term maturities, typically ranging from 1 day to 1 year. This makes it an attractive source of funding for borrowers who need funds for short-term financing needs. High liquidity. The money market is highly liquid, with instruments such as commercial paper and treasury bills being easily bought and sold. This allows investors to quickly and easily convert their investments into cash. Low risk. The money market is generally considered to be low risk, as the securities traded in this market typically have a high credit rating and are issued by government entities, banks, and corporations with strong creditworthiness. Wide participation. The money market is accessible to a wide range of investors, including individual investors, banks, and corporations. Reforms. Introduction of T-bills. The introduction of treasury bills, T-bills, in the money market has helped to diversify the range of instruments available and has increased the liquidity of the market. Easing of investment rules. The Reserve Bank of India, RBI, has eased investment rules for mutual funds, allowing them to invest in a wider range of money market instruments. This has helped to increase liquidity and reduce volatility in the market. Introduction of repos. The introduction of repurchase agreements, repos, in the money market has helped to increase the liquidity of the market by allowing market participants to quickly and easily borrow and lend funds. Introduction of call money market. The call money market has been introduced in the money market to help banks and financial institutions to maintain liquidity and also facilitate borrowing and lending of short-term funds. Introduction of negotiated dealing system. The introduction of the negotiated dealing system, NDS, has helped to improve transparency and efficiency in the money market by providing an electronic platform for trading in government securities. Q. Features and reforms of capital market. The capital market refers to the market for long-term debt and equity securities, where instruments with maturities of over 1 year are traded. The following are some key features and recent reforms of the capital market. Features. Long-term maturities. The capital market is characterized by long-term maturities, typically ranging from 1 year to several decades. This makes it an attractive source of funding for borrowers who need funds for long-term financing needs. High risk. The capital market is generally considered to be higher risk than the money market, as the securities traded in this market typically have a low credit rating and are issued by entities with weaker creditworthiness. Wide participation. The capital market is accessible to a wide range of investors, including individual investors, institutional investors, and foreign investors. Securities trading. The capital market allows for the trading of a variety of securities, including stocks, bonds, debentures, and preference shares. Reforms. Introduction of SEBI. The establishment of the Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, has helped to improve the regulation of the capital market and protect the interests of investors. Introduction of demat accounts. The introduction of dematerialized demat accounts has helped to reduce the time and cost involved in trading securities in the capital market. Introduction of electronic trading. The introduction of electronic trading platforms has helped to improve transparency and efficiency in the capital market by providing an electronic platform for trading in securities. Introduction of derivatives. The introduction of derivatives such as futures and options in the capital market has helped to increase liquidity and reduce volatility in the market. Introduction of credit rating agencies. The introduction of credit rating agencies has helped to improve the transparency of the capital market by providing investors with independent assessments of the creditworthiness of issuers. Introduction of IPO grading. The introduction of initial public offering, IPO, grading has helped to improve the quality of IPOs and protect the interests of investors by providing an independent assessment of the quality of the offering. Q. Public expenditure and causes of increase of public expenditure. Public expenditure refers to the expenditure incurred by the government in the provision of public goods and services, as well as in the implementation of various development programs. The following are some of the causes of an increase in public expenditure. Economic growth. As the economy grows, the demand for public goods and services also increases. This leads to an increase in public expenditure to meet the rising demand. Inflation. Inflation can lead to an increase in public expenditure as the government needs to spend more to purchase the same amount of goods and services. Population growth. A growing population requires the government to spend more on public goods and services such as healthcare, education, and infrastructure. Social welfare programs. The government may increase public expenditure on social welfare programs such as subsidies, pensions, and unemployment benefits to address social inequality and reduce poverty. Defense and security. National defense and security require significant public expenditure to fund the military, police, and intelligence agencies. Infrastructure development. public expenditure on infrastructure development such as roads, railways, and airports is necessary to promote economic growth and development. Fiscal policy. Fiscal policy decisions such as tax cuts or increased government spending can lead to an increase in public expenditure. Unforeseen events. Unexpected events such as natural disasters or pandemics can lead to an increase in public expenditure as the government needs to provide relief and rehabilitation to affected people. Government debt. A high level of government debt can lead to an increase in public expenditure as the government needs to spend more on debt servicing. In summary, an increase in public expenditure can be caused by factors such as economic growth, inflation, population growth, social welfare programs, defense and security, infrastructure development, fiscal policy decisions, unforeseen events, and government debt. Q.SM all-scale industries. Small-scale industries refer to businesses that are typically operated on a small scale with limited capital, resources, and manpower. These industries may be owned by individuals, partnerships, or cooperatives, and they typically employ a small number of workers. The following are some of the features of small-scale industries. Capital intensity. Small-scale industries require less capital compared to large-scale industries. They are often started with personal savings or loans from friends and family. Labor-intensive. Small-scale industries are typically labor-intensive, with a small number of workers performing multiple tasks. Flexibility. Small-scale industries are often more flexible than large-scale industries, as they can quickly adapt to changes in the market and adjust production levels accordingly. Local market. Small-scale industries often serve local or regional markets, providing goods and services to the immediate community. Innovation. Small-scale industries are often characterized by innovation and creativity, as they are not constrained by the rigid structures and bureaucracies of large corporations. Employment generation. Small-scale industries play an important role in generating employment opportunities, particularly in rural areas where job opportunities may be limited. Small-scale industries have several advantages, including the promotion of entrepreneurship, the creation of employment opportunities, and the stimulation of local economic development. However, they also face several challenges, including limited access to capital, lack of infrastructure and technology, and difficulty in competing with large-scale industries. To support the growth of small-scale industries, governments may provide various incentives, such as tax breaks, subsidies, and loans at preferential rates. Additionally, small-scale industries can benefit from collaborations with larger companies, which can provide access to technology, expertise, and resources. The following are the formulas for various cost-related terms in economics. 1. Cost calculation sum. Small black square total cost, TC, is equal to total fixed cost, TFC, plus total variable cost, TVC. Small black square total fixed cost, TFC, is equal to fixed cost per unit, FC x quantity, Q. Small black square total variable cost, TVC, is equal to variable cost per unit, VC x quantity, Q. Small black square average cost, AC, is equal to total cost, TC quantity, Q. Small black square average variable cost, AVC, is equal to total variable cost, TVC quantity, Q. Small black square average fixed cost, AFC, is equal to total fixed cost, TFC quantity, Q. Small black square marginal cost, MC, is equal to change in total cost, delta TC, change in quantity, delta Q. In summary, total cost, TC, is the sum of total fixed cost, TFC, and total variable cost, TVC. Total fixed cost, TFC, is a product of fixed cost per unit, FC, and quantity, Q. Total variable cost, TVC is the product of variable cost per unit, VC, and quantity, Q, average. Cost, AC is total cost, TC divided by quantity, Q, average variable cost, AVC is total variable cost, TVC divided by quantity, Q, average fixed cost, AFC is total fixed cost, TFC divided by quantity, Q, and marginal cost, MC is the change in total cost, delta TC divided by the change in quantity, delta Q. These formulas are used to calculate various costs in economic analysis and decision making. Q,